What's good, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new EP from G Jones, Illusory tracks. I would say I'm a fan of G Jones's work and think a lot of it is consistently good overall and progressively getting better as his career goes on. G Jones also was a part of one of my favorite songs ever, which is Demon Veil by E-Prom off his Icon EP. So knowing that, of course I'm always looking forward to anything G Jones has planned because I just know I'm gonna be asking myself, how did he make that sound? At least a few times while listening. I had decently high hopes going into this release, so let's get into it. The ARP at the intro is very interesting, especially when the drums come in and the melody begins to change up a bit. It adds a sense of urgency to the track. When it actually drops, I love how the sound constantly cuts out for what sounds like a vocal sample, and that continues for the other synths and basses that appear in other sections of the drop as well. The high-pitched, stuttering, almost laser-like sound is probably my favorite part of the drop. While all sections of the drop may follow the same structure with varying synths and sounds, it still works to give the track an overall glitchy and complex feeling. The snare rolls that come in and out, as well as the panning surprisingly, also add to that glitchy feeling as well. Overall, it's a good song, and I like it a decent amount. It's very energetic, and it goes hard. I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this song. Those synth steps really build up some sort of tension that might cause somebody to think it's gonna lead into a big build-up and an even bigger drop, but it just drops instead into a very low-key first section of the drop. The section is so low-key, but I absolutely love it. It doesn't sacrifice how forceful it feels for how minimal it is. Unfortunately, that section doesn't go on for more than a few bars before it starts to build up again into another drop. It does follow the same flow as the one previous, although it's got a lot more going on and isn't nearly as minimal, as it's filled with amen breaks and a rising bass lead that still goes incredibly hard. It then leads into a repetition of the minimal section that I really liked, only to enter a repetition of the other part, which I also like, of course, just not as much as the minimal section. It then once again begins with that minimal part I keep mentioning, only for the entire song to end right after. Overall, the structure of this song is pretty all over the place, but I still really like it. This song isn't trying to conform to a traditional song structure or even a bass music structure, which is incredibly admirable. All the various sections of the song that appear are all very well done and range from me liking them quite a bit to absolutely loving them. I really like the song a lot. The song is a 9 out of 10 to me. The stabby melody that leads into the drop is pretty catchy, and I do like it quite a bit. The actual drop itself follows the same melody as the synth, only going incredibly harder with a synth that sounds like an angry bee over top some absurdly hard trap drums. The song continues to keep the melody as it transitions into another synth using it, although I don't like it quite as much as the one I said sounded like an angry bee. G Jones and E-Prom begin to really get their money's worth for that melody in the second part of the song, as they continuously put it through multiple different sounds. All of it is incredibly hard, however, I just wish there was a bit more variation within the melody used, since I do like it, however, I don't love it. Overall, I still do like the song, and I think it's a banger, but a bit more variation melody-wise would have been nice. I'm feeling a 7.5 out of 10 on this song. I love how everything in the intro is what sounds like to be sidechained and actively panning as well. It's all so gorgeous. All of the different synths and ARPs go so well together to create such a heavenly array of sounds. The main melody then comes in, and just like the rest of the intro, it's incredibly pretty as well. It then builds up and drops into steel drums of all things, playing the same melody. I don't hate this section with the steel drums, although personally I'm just not wowed by it, especially in comparison to the stunning intro the song has. It does transition into a very ethereal woodwind section, however, which I do somewhat like a bit more, but just for a few bars before transitioning once again. Overall, the drop was just kinda underwhelming, unfortunately, for the amazing intro this song had. I do love how everything gets low passed after the drop, and then you hear all these synths that sound almost submerged, along with the sporadic drum breaks that enter here and there. It's again another section I find to be very ethereal before the song eventually ends. Songs. I do like it, mostly for the intro, however, since I just find the rest to be underwhelming, unfortunately. However, I don't hate it even a little bit. Also, aspects of the intro I like are found in the rest of the song as well, so I can't complain too much. I like the song a lot and think it's amazing. It just could have been even more amazing in my eyes. The song is an 8.5 out of 10 to me. The intro is very low-key with those subdued drums and bass line covered by a reverby, what sounds like to be an 808 cowbell hitting over and over. The delay on everything within the song is amazing and adds to this feeling of being underwater that the outro of the last song also had, which I love. G. Jones then uses the cowbells to create a second melody over top the first, which is just so pretty. I love how G. Jones is using something as simple as an 808 cowbell to create these stunning melodies, almost using it like a harp. The cowbells, along with the stunning stuttering drums, create a feeling as if you're floating while listening to the song. Overall, everything, from the drums, the cowbell, the other minute sounds that appear and disappear constantly, and the reverb and delay over top, everything creates such a simple, perfect, and relaxing song. This song is gorgeous and by far my favorite on the EP. The song is a perfect 10 to me. Off the bat, I'm not a fan of that synth. It appeared earlier in Operator, and I just feel like it's overused in bass music, specifically brostep as well. Now, I don't listen to much brostep these days, but from what I have heard, a lot use the exact same preset if it is a preset, and I'm sure you all know which synth I'm talking about. Or maybe I just happen to only hear brostep songs that use that synth, who knows. Anyways, that airy bass that hits before those lasery sounds come in goes so hard, I love it. I don't have too strong an opinion on the lasery sound itself, however. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And the sound that takes its place later on in the drop, I don't like, honestly. It just sounds a little too goofy to me personally, although with everything else, it still does go hard. And the pad after the drop is absolutely gorgeous, surprisingly, as it leads into the following section. The outro also goes stupidly hard when the drums go 4x4 until it once again transitions into those lasery sounds and returns to halftime. Overall, it is a hard song, and there are aspects of it I do like, but it's just probably my least favorite on the EP due to other aspects. Although it's still not a bad song at all though. The song is a 7 out of 10 to me. Overall, the flow and sequencing of the EP is pretty solid, and I do like how the bangers are all together in the first 3 tracks, only to then transition into 2 more chill ones and end with one final banger. I just wish that the final song was a bit more to my liking personally, but it still once again wasn't a bad song. I don't think there's a bad song on this EP. This EP is a solid 6 tracks and 18 minutes, which is honestly perfect for an EP, so no complaints there whatsoever. All tracks are also consistent in their quality, more or less, and have more or less the same style as well, even if the overall moods may be different, and they're styles that G. Jones and his collaborators pull off extremely well. An 8.5 for everything surrounding the music on this EP is fair, I believe. It's pretty good overall. So if you add the 8.5 along with all the ratings I gave all the songs on the EP, you get an 8.3 overall, which I believe accurately represents my feelings on this project. G. Jones continues to experiment with and explore what's possible with bass music, and specifically brostep, it seems, on this EP. I enjoy how this EP has that very distinct G. Jones style, yet it still feels refreshing to hear at the same time. My favorite tracks were Thought Tracing, Elysian Hardcore, and Patterns Emerge. My least favorite was Say What, although it still is not a bad song one bit. This was an extremely good release, and I'm so glad to have been able to experience it. This glitchy and sporadic style will always be something I love and look forward to. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.